Next up on the Verbal Journal Podcast audio-visual segment, I got the most exciting thing for you right now. So you know that guy Clavicular? He's kind of making the rounds on the internet. You might have heard of this guy. He's well known for being very, attractive is kind of his thing. He came out of the, whatever, movements of, he's a live streamer. I don't know, whatever. The long and short of it, I never go to this website, Kick, but it's just where I had to go to get this clip. He's a live streamer. He has a lot of young boys who watch him. A lot of young boys are at home, on summer break, home from school, whatever. And they and even when it's other seasons of the year, a lot of little boys just like watching some guy, you know what I mean? And they think he's cool. So there's a lot of streamers out there, and, little kids are not going to watch me most of the time because I'm talking about things that they might find boring, frankly, and they have to get a little bit older. But they like guys like this. He's kind of, whatever. They think he's cool. And that's great. I'm really happy for him. I'm a big fan of chess. So when I saw this famous influencer, he puts tags of Chad and Mogger. And slots, because he's sponsored by gambling companies. He's promoting gambling to children, which is actually really unethical. And you might as well promote heroin to children, honestly, because if you're promoting gambling to children, I have a problem with that, frankly. You can gamble all you want. I do not think it should be illegal to gamble, but I don't think you should be promoting gambling to children. I actually think that should be illegal. Anyways, I like chess. I'm a big chess fan, and so big enjoyer of chess. So when I saw this famous live streamer, Clavicular, is in Paris, France, playing chess, I thought, well, let's see if his chess game is as beautiful as his face and body or whatever he's selling to these little boys. He's like, I'm a good-looking man. You should be like me. So he's a famous good-looking man. Let's see if his chess is as good-looking. So he sits down, and he sits down with a guy in Paris, France. And this is just one of those classic guys on the street playing chess. They have in all major cities, and this is after 10 hours of live streaming. So he live streams gambling to his child audience, and then he live streams just walking around shopping. Wearing clothes, getting mad at service workers, just having a good time in Paris, France. So what happened in this chess game? Now, I'm going to show you in a way that no one's shown, because I went looking for the actual moves, and I was not able to find it. So I actually created my own board that we can look at the moves on, without having to, try to look in this video. Because you can see the moves they make in this video, but it's not easy to see all of them, So it's it's hard to follow when you're just watching the video. And I looked on the internet and I said, does anyone have the PGN and the actual notation so you could look at the moves? No one had it. I could not find it anywhere. So right now you got a Verbal Journal Podcast exclusive. We are going to analyze the Clavicular chess game from Paris, France, that just happened this past week, so we can see if his chess playing is as beautiful as his perfect body and face that he's sculpted through extremely deliberate and neurotic self-aggrandizing insecurity. So what do we have here? Now, I'm gonna just kind of show you. So this is the vibe of them playing, right? And, they have a clock. I don't know if it's a 10-minute game, 5-minute game each or something like that. And Clavicular has to be told, hey, you're supposed to touch the clock with the same hand you move with and stuff like that. And that's okay, because not everyone knows that. It's totally understandable to not know that if you're not used to playing chess with a clock and stuff like that. And also, Clavicular, he's not like a chess YouTuber. It's okay if he's not amazing at chess, to the people watching this out there, you shouldn't be I don't know what's going on with my hair. I'm not chessmaxxing right now. But to the people out there, I'm not trying to, there's nothing wrong with, learning chess. There's nothing, when you learn chess, you're going to be bad at chess. And I play games every day. I lose games every day. You know what I mean? I win games. I lose games every day. So you should not feel bad about losing a game of chess. Clavicular should not feel bad about losing a game of chess. He should feel bad about gambling to his child audience, and promoting gambling. But not losing a game of chess. Who cares about that? That's just part of a game. I will say this about Clavicular's chess skills. He does know how the pieces move. He knows how all the pieces move. He's aware of how at no point in this video did I see him ask how the pieces move. So he does know how the pieces move, and I will say that to him. You can look at his facial expression. He's already overwhelmed. So let's look at the moves, okay? So, because it's a lot easier to see the moves when we look at them here. And here's the analysis you'll see. So white starts with a very slight advantage in chess. 0.2 means 2/10 of a pawn's value. So technically white starts with a slight advantage because white has first move. But it's not enough of an advantage to win. Otherwise, chess would be a solved game. It's absolutely not enough of an advantage to win. But let's see. So white, Clavicular is white, and the street player is black. Okay. So Clavicular goes first, and he plays Queen's Pawn. It's a classic opening for anyone. It's what I play as a first move. Now I do it in a slightly different way because I follow it up with C4. But anyways, and then so this is a crazy opening that the street player does. Okay, it's a crazy opening. Like, can I just check? Is that actually correct? Like, he actually does move. You see, he moves his second from the left pawn, his first move. That's a crazy opening. But that's what these street players do because they want to get you out of your prep. So, you know, you might not even realize this, but the street player actually opens himself up to just have that pawn taken immediately. And now he's down. It's almost, the computer says he's down 2 pawns because it's not, the material value is not always equivalent to the actual evaluation. Even though he just lost 1 pawn, the computer's saying he's down 2 pawns because black has 0 development right now. And white has a great bishop. You know, obviously you can scare away the bishop. You know, it's not like a great move because you end up, actually there's sort of tricks like this where you can't just take it or it's mate. You know what I mean? But like, there's other ways to counteract the bishop being out. It's not like the bishop's going to stay in this perfect position the whole time, you know, regardless of how things go in one way or another. But like, if you take the pawn and then, you know, if you do some other move like this or something like that, obviously white can trade the pieces and black has really bad development, you know, but the computer is saying the best move would be this. Eventually this bishop is going to be scared away one way or another though. You know, you do this and bishops get scared away. It's, you know, it is what it is. Like, but black is willing to let white just take this pawn, and it is by far the best move for white, of course. Like, but even anything else is like pretty good too. Like anything is good, and what Clavicular does is a good move too. It's just not like a great move because what happens then is black pushes and scares away the knight, which is what happens and what we're about to see. But just you need to see this. Clavicular immediately on his second move just does not see that he can take a free pawn. I don't know exactly why. And like the first time I watched this, I didn't even notice because I'm so unfamiliar with like this crazy street opening. But for whatever reason, I mean, he's just nervous, I guess. It's not like a fascinating thing. He's just like nervous. Like if we go back, you know, I don't think he's paying attention, and he's live streaming. It's like, it's overwhelming to be live streaming, you know, you're doing a lot, but he doesn't even look really at what his opponent just did. He just immediately does something. It's just, he's so unfamiliar with chess that he doesn't even think, oh, the street player is doing a weird opening. You know what I mean? Like anyone who's familiar with chess would immediately be like, okay, this opening the street player just did is extremely unusual. G5 is an extremely, I play D4 every single game. No one ever plays G5, ever. You can see all kinds of weird stuff. That is 100% a street player opening to get people out of their prep. And maybe I don't think he knew who Clavicular was, but he knew that this guy's like an influencer. He's streaming, so he's like, whatever, I'm going to try to get into a weird game. But this is cocky. Okay, so playing G5 is crazy. Clavicular immediately not even looking at the move, like not even treating it like it's weird. He just, like, dude, just slow down. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's understandable you're overwhelmed. You're live streaming. You're doing a lot of different stuff. But, like, just slow down. Because, like, there's no need to do that. And, like, is he attacking the pawn? Is that what he's trying to do? So Clavicular does this. But he just turns out... That's a free pawn. Like, I don't even know what to say. Okay, anyways, whatever. We got to move on. So, okay, Clavicular does knight move. And then Street Player just scares away the knight, which is, again, now the advantage is basically gone for white. Because the Street Player will find a way to back up that pawn one way or another. And anyways, so the knight jumps into the position, but it's going to be scared away soon enough. Street Player scares away the knight again, which also now backs up this pawn. Now it's guarded by the bishop. Okay? So things are getting not so great for white, but it's not like white's losing. White's just not really controlling the situation. You know? So that's not great, because as white, you kind of get that right to control the situation. You want to be using that right. You want to be controlling the situation. Anyways, so white, moves, gets scared away. Black now attacking white's pawn. And white then, Clavicular now doesn't even guard the pawn. So this is when things start really going wrong. And now we see black has an edge, minus 0.5. So black now has an edge because he just gives up that pawn. Like, he just gives up his first move's pawn. Like, for no reason, he just gives up the pawn. Like, all he has to do here is like E3. Now he's potentially attacking that pawn. It's still guarded by the bishop. But it's just a very straightforward. There's a lot of very straightforward moves. There's like, even like, even if you did like, even if you did like bishop e3, which is super ugly because you don't want to block in your own e-pawn, but at least you're not just dropping your d-pawn. You do not want to give up your d-pawn for free as white in like almost any position. But so he just gives up he's just not paying attention. His he's not attention maxing right now. He's not focus maxing right now. I will say that. So let's look at these moves in the video. We can see the little boys in the chat using slurs and stuff like that. It's like that's what they do on Kick. It's a slur platform. The guy filming is like, whoa, this dude's reading Aristotle. Can you believe it? So Clavicular just doesn't even wait. So he just doesn't even wait a second to look at what his opponent's doing. Like, look at that. His opponent fianchettos the bishop. That's what it's called when you put... I'm sorry, it's not fianchetto because it's only fianchetto when this g-pawn is back here, I think. But it's putting the bishop in this position on the long diagonal, attacking the Clav's first move, okay? And Clavicular does not even look at that move. Like, look, he just doesn't even wait. He doesn't even wait to see what his opponent does. He just immediately moves, does not even think. For some reason, like, he just... thinks he can like mog the chess. He's just trying to be like, he's just like chess is a game that it doesn't matter how you look, it doesn't matter how you look, doesn't matter your appearance, doesn't matter your facial expressions. It just matters the moves you put on the board. So to not look at your opponent developing one of their significant pieces and attacking your first move, it's not a great look. So anyways, Clavicular just drops his central pawn. Okay. And then he now belatedly brings out the c-pawn, which does nothing. Street Player just kind of brings the bishop back. Clavicular now moves the same knight again. You don't want to move the same piece over and over and over in the opening. It doesn't need to be on f4. It's fine. Like, what are you thinking? What is the plan here? Like, are you going to develop that bishop and get scared away? Like, what's the plan? Why does this knight need to be there? It can't go anywhere from there. It can get scared away immediately. It doesn't do anything. It would have been better to develop it to the queen side, probably. If anything, it doesn't need to just stay on the king side. So anyways, Street Player now backs up this pawn that was initially developed. This pawn was moved in the first move as like a meme, and now it's actually a significant part of the position. So it's not ideal, when you're playing as white here. You don't want black to now back up that g-pawn and actually make it a fixture in the position. That's not ideal. So, okay. So anyways, white now just protects the knight, but the knight can still be attacked. So I guess, what are you trying to do here? Okay, black, just developing. Black has an extremely good position here. As we can see in the notation, black is winning by 1.5, a pawn and a half. That's a significant edge it's not winning, it's not immediately crushing, but it's like really significant. And it's enough to quickly develop into a crushing position with like any more mistakes. Basically, you're about to lose as white if you make like one more significant mistake here, and probably you could lose regardless with a minus 1.6. So let's just catch up in the actual video. Let's just see these moves take place. Clav's like, oh wow, I just dropped a pawn for absolutely nothing, because he can see that, and he's like, I guess I'll scare away that bishop. I'm sorry, but Clav is getting fashion mogged too, with this light blue hat and the yellow like chartreuse tie on the red shirt. Like, Clav's getting fashion mogged right now. Sorry to say. So yeah, now he just moves the knight again, as we saw, very randomly, and he doesn't, he's struggling because he's thinking with his hands, as we say in chess. You're not supposed to think with your hands. You're supposed to, But anyways, street player playing instantly. It's really not hard for the street player because he just plays this opening all the time as black, I'm sure, and he just knows exactly it's just easy to follow as black. It's not super complicated. Clav, as we saw, backed up the knight. Black develops the knight. And just catching up in the video. And yeah, so now we see h4. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, h4. So that's what Clav does next. I will give Clav this. That's the best move. That's the best move to maintain his position. Because white could, en passant, take, but that would, still, it's guarded twice. Maybe you'd want to take back with the knight because it's in such a bad position. And then obviously the bishop could take. But this is not what you want to do as black. It doesn't really maintain the tension because eventually, you could kind of bring this bishop back. Now you're attacking this pawn. It's just not really. You're not about to take the pawn, obviously, because it's guarded by the knight. But it's just not, it doesn't really maintain the edge in the best way for black. But, so... black does not take with en passant. Black does actually a blunder right now. So look at this. So so the street player right now makes a blunder. And I don't know if he does it intentionally, because his first move of the game was a blunder, and that was obviously intentional. But he just blunders. Let me show you what he does, because Clavicular has now a chance to equalize in a bad position. He has the chance to show all his little boy fans that he's actually smart as well as handsome. All he has to do, there's one move to equalize the position. And the computer's showing us what it is. So when black does this, they're blundering because queen can put black in check. And now the only way out of check is to either move your king, which is a terrible move, or to attack the queen, more likely. And then the queen just takes the knight. And now maybe it was an intentional blunder because he thinks he could go like this, but that doesn't hold. Again, this is an only move. It's not easy to see. But there's these ways of navigating it, to where now you can't take with the pawn because it's pinned to the king. So if you take with the bishop, you're really in a bad position and things are starting to crumble for black. But he probably thought it's a little too tricky for this guy he's playing to figure out. Even if he thought Clav would find, he takes the pawn. Even if he thought Clav would find this move, he probably thought, well, that's still an equal position. I'll figure it out. I'll go like this. But I also don't know if the blunder was intentional. He might have just not seen this full line, and he might have not realized that white has a way to fully make this there's no counterplay. There's no, as we would say, black has no counterplay here for the lost piece. So it's really just a complete blunder to bring that knight and take that pawn. So does Clavicular find the only move to not lose? And this is now a moment where if you're -3, you're losing. You're losing the game unless your opponent makes a blunder. You're fully losing the game. You're down a full piece. So does Clavicular find the move to not lose the game? Let's see. He actually thinks on this one, finally. He actually takes a few seconds to actually think. He's appearing to think, I will say. He's appearing to think. He's appearing to think. He's appearing to think what's going to happen. He is appearing to think. Here we go. What's going to happen? This is the longest think of the game, which is sad because then he just doesn't figure out anything. And it's like his move that he does is so bizarre, honestly. It's like, I think the blunder was unintentional by the street player, but then he definitely realized it as Clav was thinking, and he's like, ooh, he might find it. Clav just does this, which is like, like, it's not even like he didn't find the only move, because that's understandable. You know, if you're kind of new to chess like Clavicular, you might not see this queen check. It's a little bit of a sequence, whatever. But it's just that he's moved this knight now like 4 times. And it can't go anywhere from this position. There's no point. Like, develop your other minor pieces. Develop your bishop. Develop your other knight. You know, develop anything. Develop something, like have any sense of what to do here. But instead, he just moves that knight again. So now black just pushes a pawn, a central pawn. Black is just having a crushing position. Clavicular, for no reason, just moves the rook. I guess he doesn't need the rook here anymore because this pawn is now guarded by this pawn, and he's maybe thinking of developing the bishop. Black just developing, completely crushing into the position. White, for no reason... I mean, I guess he's developing his bishop, but it's not a great spot to develop it in necessarily. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's fine, but whatever. And then black just offers a bishop trade, and Clav resigns. So that's what happened. That's how the game ends. And it's like, I don't know why he doesn't at least take back the bishop. It's a weird time to resign, honestly. It's a really weird time to resign because it seems like he doesn't understand it's a bishop trade. Like, you would want to resign, at least, like, take the bishop trade. I mean, because, like, giving up in that position makes it seem like he doesn't... Yeah, again, he's, like, stressing about the touch move rule. The guy's explaining you can move it anywhere. But yeah. So Clavicular just moves it like whatever, like, and then he he just has no idea what he's saying, which is fine. It's okay to not know, but it's a funny time to resign because you might as well just take the bishop back. You might as well just play it out. But he doesn't, and he resigns. And he was in a losing position, so it's fine to resign. It's just funny because, like, it makes it look like you lost a piece, but you didn't lose a piece in that position necessarily. So anyways, that's the game. That's how it worked. And Clavicular, lost the game. But hey, it's okay to lose a game of chess. As I said, we all do it. It happens to the best of us. And it also happens to live streamers who promote gambling to children and also are, instead of going to therapy to deal with their mental health issues related to their feelings of insecurity that run extremely deeply about their appearance, they take extremely drastic steps and promote a serious lack of awareness and lack of conscientiousness towards their body to their young audience. So I recommend therapist and chess coach for Clavicular, maybe in that order. And okay, thanks for watching. Check out the podcast if you're watching this as a clip, because I'm definitely going to post this as a clip. This is a podcast or something like that.